evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. In case you haven't noticed, it's hard to trust anything you hear right now. We've heard you. We're grateful that you trust us, and we will try to be worthy of your trust. We want to begin tonight by assessing some of the things no doubt you have heard about last week's presidential election. There are conflicting versions of virtually every part of that story. But as of right now, here's what we think we know. For much of election night, Donald Trump seemed to be leading in a number of key swing states. Then early Wednesday morning, he began to fall behind. That trend continued more or less for several days. On Saturday, the media declared Joe Biden the president-elect. Biden quickly accepted that judgment. The Biden campaign now has something called the Office of the President-elect. It sounds official, which of course is the point of setting it up. And in the end, it's possible it will be official.
I found this nugget as I was editing this particular video that you guys are watching right now, and it's just so sad to watch. I remember hanging on the ropes, just on the tightrope, like, Father God, please don't let this be true. Please do not let this be true. And it was true. You know, 3 years later, look at us today. We have 2 wars going on, inflation through the roof, crime is rampant. Our borders, we don't have a country because in order to have a country, you have to have borders. We have no borders. And the energy, there's no self-sustaining energy, no affordable energy. There's just problems everywhere.
If after all the questions have been answered, it becomes clear that Joe Biden is the legitimate winner of the presidential election, we will accept that and we'll encourage others to accept it too. We're Americans first. We want what is best for this country. We want our system of government to continue. Whether it does continue, though, depends in part on how we proceed from here. As of tonight, tens of millions of Americans suspect this election was stolen from them. That means we now live in a country where a large percentage of our population no longer believes that our democracy is real. That is sad. It is also dangerous. It could easily get worse. What we're doing in response is hardly the solution. It is making our country much more volatile.
He's right, and it did get worse. It did get worse because this particular video that the rest of this video, if you guys please, thank you for watching it in the first place. But the rest of this video, I'm going to show you how, we did have shenanigans just yesterday.
It is setting us up for something bad. In a democracy, you cannot ignore honest questions from citizens. You're not allowed. You can't dismiss them out of hand as crazy or immoral for asking. You can't just cut away from coverage you don't like. You can't simply tell people to accept an outcome because force doesn't work in a democracy. That's dictatorship. In a free society, you have to convince the public of your legitimacy. You have to win them over with reason. Democracy is always a voluntary arrangement. Telling voters to shut up is never enough. So in this case, tonight, there's only one way to lower the national temperature and unite the country. We need to find out exactly what happened in this election. And there are questions, and that means we have to answer them. For example, in Pennsylvania, Nevada, and Michigan, the Trump campaign has now collected signed affidavits that attest to criminal activity during the voting process. In the city of Detroit, witnesses have alleged under oath that ballots were improperly backdated and counted without matching signatures.
On another video, coming back to this and watching this again, almost, I don't know if the word is shocking, but a lot of this stuff I forgot.
One poll watcher alleges that 40,000 late unsealed absentee ballots were counted orally, and all of them went for Democrats. In the state of Nevada, 8 whistleblowers from within the Nevada election department say they witnessed voter fraud abetted by other election officials and by their supervisors. According to one affidavit, a poll worker saw people bringing handfuls of ballots to a Biden-Harris campaign van. Those ballots were then filled out at the van, placed in return envelopes. Eventually, Biden supporters formed a wall to block outsiders from seeing what they were doing. Meanwhile, according to voting records, people who were not even alive still somehow managed to vote on Tuesday. In New York, deceased voters cast absentee ballots. On October 9th in Nevada, a man called Fred Stokes Jr. mailed in his vote. The only problem was Fred Stokes Jr. died 3 years ago at the age of 92. The Republican Party of Nevada says it is aware of hundreds of other potential cases of dead people casting ballots. In Pennsylvania, records show turnout from several people who were born in the 19th century. They apparently rose from their graves to vote. Now, all of that is real. We spent all weekend checking it. False claims of fraud can be every bit as destructive as the fraud itself. So we need to be careful and responsible, all of us. But what we just told you is true, and there's more of it. Just hours ago in the state of Georgia, an election official admitted that they will find illegal votes and double voters when they check the voter rolls.
Let me be perfectly clear on another point. We are going to find that people did illegally vote. That's going to happen. There are going to be double voters. There are going to be people who did not have the qualifications of a registered voter to vote in this state. That will be found. Is it 10,353? Unlikely. But every election, as I've said, I think every day at this podium, is imperfect.
So you hear this, like, look at all this stuff that Trump is, the indictments, everything. I mean, look at all this stuff that Trump is all of a sudden being indicted for. Oh, you tried to run a RICO case, a RICO organization to say that the election was stolen. But the fact is, watching this again, you look at all of this information that Tucker Carlson is giving out. Other people were saying this. I'm pretty sure Trump didn't call everybody over the weekend and say, go ahead on television and say these things.
We are going to find that people did illegally vote. That's going to happen. That is the official account before even counting the votes from a key swing state in the middle of a contested election. And of course, you can believe it because we've already found illegal voting. So much for those claims that voter fraud never happens. Of course it happens. They knew it happened when they told us it would never happen because they're liars. So we know that for sure.
They did tell us too. I remember they were like, oh, you're immoral if you think that voter fraud is happening. Somebody's always immoral when they ask a question.
At this stage, the fraud that we can confirm does not seem to be enough to alter the election results. We should be honest and tell you that. Of course, that could change. But changing the election results is not the whole point. The real point is that fraud took place, and that should horrify us. If you want people to believe that our system is real, that our system is worth, say, joining the military and dying to protect, then you've got to get to the bottom of what just happened, and you've got to do it as quickly and responsibly as you can. You can't have fraud in an election because no one will believe in elections, and then things fall apart. But gathering facts is the last thing our media, our designated fact gatherers, seem to want to do. Instead, they're demanding that you shut up and accept Joe Biden. Period. That's their verdict. You must accept it. And if you don't accept it, they'll hurt you. In other words, no one in this country is going to set up a, quote, resistance to Joe Biden. They're going to make certain of that. Those resist stickers, you remember? No, those are for Range Rovers only. No pickup trucks allowed. Try it, buddy, and you'll find out. Overstatement? Well, this morning, a prominent anchor on CNN sent this tweet to Trump supporters.
Absolutely crazy, yo. Like the foreshadowing of events that would take place afterwards. And just watching this again, I had to share this with you guys just a little bit more. But you'll see, I looked up stealing the vote, and this is what came up. I was trying to find a little inspiration about something, and this is what came up.
Quote, I truly sympathize with those dealing with losing. But at a certain point, one has to think not only about what's best for the nation, peaceful transfer of power, but how any future employers might see your character defined during adversity. Got that? Your character is on trial here. Future employers take note. In other words, accept Joe Biden now or you will never work again.
It just kills me, though, the hypocrisy. Like, look what they put us through. They were threatening us with future employment, your characteristic and everything. And we were supposed to be the opposing force about this type of behavior. But today I'm seeing Republicans do the same thing. And here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. If you're going to do these type of things, if you're going to have these kind of behaviors, you should have them for your own country. Let's put it that way. You should have them for your own country. There's a lot of disaffected people out here. Apparently in Pennsylvania, it's somewhere around 2 million Republicans didn't even get up and go vote. Okay, so that tells you a lot. Like that tells you a lot. People are tired. People are so tired, and they're bored with the same old messaging. We need to get mad again. We do. Mad meaning like, I don't know. I really don't know, but something has to happen because people are getting tired. So anyway, I definitely wanted to share this with you. Please stay tuned. because I'm also going to share what happened yesterday with our voting system. Once again, I'll tell you this, a lot of these issues need to be figured out. We need to figure something out, because next year, I think that's when people are going to get up and say, we've had enough. We cannot have a repeat of 2020. That's a fact. I'm glad I ran into this video too.
You expect me not to take that fucking personally? You fucking try to overthrow elections with violence, and then you're out here among decent people.
Thanks for
what do
coming
you have
out
to say that, huh? What's on your fucking what are your policy prescriptions?
Have a nice day. You've already
Fucking
voted. It's
rapist
good.
rights,
Yeah.
involving yourself in people's fucking families and their fucking bedrooms.
It's pretty wild.
You fucking animal.
Okay, so this is a guy who has never had any kind of real strength in his life. He is, and you can tell he's doing this to another white person. Like, this guy, I bet you would not walk up to a black guy and do this, right? And this is what I mean. Like, come on, y'all can't be treating each other like this too. The country's already treating y'all bad. There's no reason for this kind of behavior. There really isn't. You know, why is he so angry? Because people are watching the polls and making sure there's no shenanigans. Because there were shenanigans today, and we're gonna get to that.
All right?
Yeah, you
Permission?
can. Yeah. It's a one-party consent
Shitbird,
state.
Shitbird. Yeah, one-party state. You want a fucking one-party country is what you want.
Hey, sir, how are you? Headed in to vote? Could I get a Republican sample ballot? Sure, thank you.
You know, try not to be buddy-buddy with these people, because they put on the face of a good neighbor, but they support lynch mobs or the fucking KKK, or they're fucking Bible-beating bigots and free.
Absolutely driving a Prius. You know he's driving a Prius. So anyway, coming back to the channel. So are we still this worked up over Republicans? Like, what's going on? What's wrong with the guy? Like, what is that? That is absolutely insane. Now, yes, we do need people to pay attention to what's going on out here in the streets, because guess what? Of course, we have the usual. There was some sort of shenanigans in Pennsylvania. Voting machines down in Pennsylvania, votes getting flipped. What's going on? Multiple polling locations in Pennsylvania experienced voting machine issues Tuesday morning, forcing election officials to offer voters provisional ballots. It appears that when a voter selects yes or no for one of the candidates for retention to Pennsylvania Superior Court, the selection is recorded on the paper ballot and on the machine for the other candidate. Wow, I didn't even know that, to be honest, because I didn't check to see. The issue is limited to retention of Superior Court judges. I'm trying not to be black-pilled about everything, but I'll tell you this, like, you know, it just makes you unable to trust anything. It really does. Like, it does. But I wanted to bring this to you guys' attention. I don't know where we go from here, what the news will say about this, what will be the next step. I don't know. So it is what it is. I just don't even know what else to say. I just don't know. There's always something in Pennsylvania. We vote against our Constitution. We messed up 2020. I mean, just everything. It is frustrating. But I did go out there. I did do my part. So we'll see what happens. I'll see you guys at the next video. Bye.